ancestral lineage, image of villages fleeing from pillages. Menatal syllabus revealed to us many Kufu, dialect Hotep Ubuntu. In my eye, dining on veggie dishes and Thai spots. My cyclops, third eye vision, tell tales of Aesop. Bloodstone and amethyst, healing crystals that I rock. As I watch the industry serve wealth, I meditate, learn self, plant seeds, cause seeds indeed need help. Give yours to Caesar. I'm an energy retriever and receiver of the deeper wisdoms of our elder teachers. I'm a seeker of the light, melanated, see the night in my physical form. Original man born before born. We elevating education, reignited, reading my camp. Study evil, reason why they write it, no wool over the eyelid, the pilot lit. I spit elixirs, the evidence on evidences mixes vociferous with this. No biting tongue, belly lung, liver feeling that Leroy glow. Chakra healing, dealing with the full index. A well-fed INS, brand name spineless. Lot to learn, I confess.
Peace, 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 family. How's everybody doing today? I hope you all are doing well. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. Today I'm coming on here to talk to you about Mercury entering into Taurus. It's a short transit, but an important one nonetheless. I think it's actually really dope that we are having this transit just before we go into the Taurus eclipse. It says a lot to pay attention to what comes up during this transit, as you'll be building more to that and getting more pieces of the puzzle to that, as well as going back to my yearly 2022 videos where I broke the eclipse energies down from a historical point. I really focused on a lot of historical events that we had prior to this, but I also did talk about some personal and other aspects as well. But I will be doing another video talking about now what's going on, and if anything has changed, so it won't be too long, but still nonetheless I think it's important to have the conversation. I also like the fact that just before this transit ends, we will then move into Mercury going into Gemini, and I feel like there's some connection there to the North Node from last year and getting more pieces to building upon what that is for you. So I really like this combination in general overall, because anytime you have Earth planets, Earth signs in a planet, you materialize in this reality, something that you can actually physically touch, and we need that with this Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter, dreams coming to reality type energy, and even keeping us grounded in that, right? Because Pisces can tend to be it's a drama, and it could tend to be a little unrealistic in its dreams. And so with these transits happening with Earth, I'm like, yo, it's like the universe knows what it's doing. It's like, really, you can't mess up here now. The super sad, unfortunate part to that is if you are not challenging yourself to grow, you're going to do a lot of repeating of the same stuff, which is okay. Maybe that's what you're meant to do here. But I do think overall, as a society, we're meant to evolve in some way, shape, or form. And so with that, these transits can be really hard for people who struggle with change, and if you have any fixed energy in your chart, where it just takes you a lot longer to grasp things. It doesn't mean that it's bad or anything like that, just hard, really hard, because this energy is going to come hard, it's coming full force, and that's what makes it so difficult, but nonetheless still really, really, really beautiful. And so family, if you like the content that we create here, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so that you can be notified every time we go live. We appreciate you in advance. This transit will last from today, no, actually from yesterday, April 10th to April 28th, which is just a few days before the eclipse. And so Mercury rules the mind, intelligence, your thought process, your critical thinking skills, skepticism, communication, writing, your devices, social media, messages, texts, emails, phone calls. It's also the magician here, and so there's some kind of magic happening with whatever you're creating. This could also be around like games, board games, obviously mind games, but also sports like Olympics in particular. When I think of Mercury, not necessarily Mercury and Taurus, but with all the Pisces energy, this could really be relatable to some kind of Olympics or championships or things of that nature. It also rules adaptability, or being adaptable, flexible, versatile. It's movement, specifically fast movement, which Taurus will slow down. And then it also rules marketing skills, vocation. Vocation is actually going to be very, very important for this transit, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute. And then the typical things that you may know Gemini to be is your siblings, neighbors, community. It actually rules your cousins as well. Community, anything on wheels, right? So errands, public transportation, your car. Yeah. This could also be studying and learning as well. And so Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It rules fertility, growth, increase, nature, material possessions, value, investments, your skills and talents, the kitchen, specifically the pantry. So any food goods, is that what it's called? Or canned goods, sorry. Or good food. This is like Taurus is very uppity, if you will. They have taste. They got good taste at that. And so this is somebody who particularly likes the finer foods in life, natural foods, things that come from the earth, the beauty of like really tasting the nature in your food, even, or comfort food, finger food, especially with Gemini, because Gemini rules the hands. This is also your some sensual stuff going on here. So massage therapy is obviously the first thing that comes to mind, or just being good with your hands. I often think of Taurus as a hoarder, especially with its opposite counterpart Scorpio. I feel like those are hoarder signs to me. I don't know why. Because Scorpio rules recycling, so that's why I relate it to hoarders. But also just being really good with your hands by way of like building things, or using like recycled things to build things, right? And so Taurus might not necessarily be recyclable goods, but more like a yard sale person. Somebody who really, when they go out to buy stuff, again, they buy things of value and they keep it for as long as it lasts. And even when it's no longer any good to them because they've outgrown it, it could be so much use for somebody else, right? And so in a way here, I view this as somebody who keeps parts or just good, values of their goods, their old furniture and things that they no longer are interested in, but they can then profit off of it, or even build something else with it, or use it to build something else, if that makes sense at all. It's just a more fashionable way than just somebody who recycles, because a recycled person could be a trash picker. And not to say that there's anything wrong with trash picking, if that's your thing, but it's like, somebody might not want that stuff. Or it might be seen as like yucky or icky, whereas again Taurus has a little bit more sass to it and pride, or whatever about whatever that is to them. And so it's just more value to it. These are people who like can sell their trophies or signed basketball, or like stuff like that. I think you guys get my drift. This is also your sixth senses. I always say six, I know it's five, but we are heavily in Pisces energy. We have a stellium currently right now in Pisces, and even if we didn't have a stellium, I'd still say six senses, because there are some people intuitively who have that sixth sense. So yeah, these are the things that you can touch, feel, sense, smell, right? Touch, whatever. The six senses. Also your voice, your singing voice here, farming, gardening, any kind of artistic things here, or even artistic career or fields, budgeting, savings, marketing, money, are all things that are ruled by Taurus. So Mercury has been just like moving super fast through the sky, minding its own business, living its whole best life. But Taurus is going to put a bit of a stop to that. Taurus is like, slow down. I want you to eat your food. And you know how like when you do wine tasting, they want you to swish it around your mouth and get the real flavor of just the taste of your food, and letting it digest, and just walking and looking at the flowers and taking it all in, right? And so we can become more present in the physical world at this time, which I just don't like it. But I do like it if you are on the higher vibrations of this. Again, you're literally setting up your new karmic cycle. And so it's important to be at your highest, whatever that is to you, and be happy with that, because these things are going to manifest in your reality, whatever it is that you're working on at this time. You'll continue to work on this for the next 2,000 years, really, but for the next year for sure. And this is also very kinesthetic learners, or like people who learn hands-on. And so we can become more hands-on. This is somebody who can be a little stubborn, maybe slow to make decisions, not really liking change, and then your thoughts can be really slow as well. Like your momentum of thought process can slow down a lot, which can be a good or a bad thing. It really depends on how you look at it, or really what field you're in. That's the part where it starts to get really dangerous, right? Because if you're in a field where you need that high intensity, and then you got Mercury and Taurus, well, obviously this can lead to accidents and mistakes. But on the other hand, something that you need to slow down and take perfection in, well, I mean, like, this is the bomb.com. And so on the very positive side of this, these are people are gonna just be more practical at this time. These are people who can jump in and do things and just figure it out. You might even prefer it to be that way. We might be more attracted to buying what you need rather than what you want, or things of value or class, or again things that you can invest in, like I was talking about from the hoarder, or even like doing DIY or DIY, do it yourself projects. And you're getting really grounded and mentally focused. I think of this as like really good for people again who are in the arts, right? And maybe you do art to slow your mind down, but now with Mercury and Taurus, it's like you're gonna feel it differently now too. You're not just gonna do it because it helps you slow down, but also like feel it and see it all the way through, which is like, I don't know what it is about this energy that really excites me. But I just feel like it's going to be so much more beautiful. This are people who perform, so musicians, and really any creative, artistic, liberal arts field. And then Venus, the ruler of Taurus, is going to be in Pisces, which makes for a good transit, no matter how, some people might say that Mercury is in its detriment in Taurus. Okay, but Venus, the ruling sign of Taurus in Pisces, is very happy there. So I see that as a lot more support, with this being more helpful than to your detriment. Let's see. On the 17th, I just want to pull up, because I think it's important to see this. So on the 17th, and this is just a transit chart, family, so you get to see. I'm going to try to be more hands-on this way. I can't make any promises. It's a pain in the ass setting this stuff up, but still really good to be able to look at. And so let's find Venus in Pisces. And so I'm in Boston, so you don't need to pay attention to the houses, but just the transits. That's what we're really, really looking at here. But Venus in Pisces for the ruler of Taurus and Mercury is a good transit. It's a supportive transit. And so I really feel like people are going to be in high spirits, and it's really going to stick. So even like if things are happening that, maybe it's something you thought you really wanted, right? But again, Taurus is about what you need. It's about securing the bag, about security, and for the long term, right? And so I really feel like people are going to be more focused on their talents, studying, learning their talents, doing whatever they have to do to master their talents, and they'll have the focus to follow through with that. Even thinking outside the box on different ways that if you already know what your talents are, how are you putting that out in the world in some way, shape, or form? How is it showing up to others? You could get real creative and start thinking outside the box on how you want to do that, different ways to get money from that, and it be supported. You'll continue to get more pieces to the puzzle on whatever this could be for you. And especially people who are in creative fields and spiritual fields, right? You'll even have more faith and optimism about what it is that you're working on at this time, and it could bring like major blessings. If there are things that you're looking to take out of your life, to release from your life, to let go from your life, that is stopping you from doing all this could be a time where these things kind of manifest and come through and change for you. But on the 17th, we have Venus sextiling Mercury. And so that's another supportive angle. And whenever the planets have sex, that's good for us, meaning it's almost going to seem like things flow in a way that it's going to be like one of those things where like you couldn't have planned that any better yourself. You could be making plans to do things at this time, especially if you're doing long range planning. Oh, this is going to be great for that, especially if it's some kind of financial planning, asking for a raise, savings, budgeting better, especially if it's for something specific, and it doesn't have to be your career. Whatever it is you're trying to get, accomplish, reach, do, consider, think, rethink. This could totally be some kind of like counseling or spiritual guidance in some way, shape, or form, where you find a new practice and learn something that really is securing you again, where your faith is restored or renewed, or again you just get messages, signs, signals showing you that you're on the right path, and they're solid tools and things that you can use to help you through this time. And then we have Mercury conjunct Uranus at the same time. So these are unexpected surprises, events. This could definitely be a romantic gesture, especially online. It could be in public, if somebody gets proposed to, or you find somebody or bump into somebody without even trying. Maybe you're out shopping, whatever you do on a regular basis. Or again, this could totally be online, and it ends up being like something that you could have never planned for yourself. Radical expressions of love and affection, again in the public or online from your significant other. Or you're changing like your personal style, or rebranding yourself or your business in some way, shape, or form, or just like trying something new. You want to do something different here. If you've been stuck in a rut and you want to get out of that energy, this is definitely something that could help with that. And obviously you can gain money, contracts, just as quickly as you can lose them. I mean, that's just the nature of Pisces and Uranus together on the lower vibration of all of this, and or just struggling with thinking things through or finding answers or clarity. So be mindful for those things. They are possible. And then on the 24th, I think this is where I want to go. Mercury's going to square Saturn. And y'all know how I feel about Mercury, right? Saturn, rather. But I'm trying to be nice here. So here's Saturn in Aquarius. It's been there. It's in its later degree. So it's already kind of come through and wreaked havoc in everybody's lives, which Saturn does so well. But I like this because it is at the end degree, and so we've had to have learned something by now, right? And so this is a few ways I can see this showing up, is that the universe is going to test you to see if you've actually learned whatever lesson it is that it had been presented to you from this transit when it first started. And you'll be facing that and dealing with that over until about June, right? And the other way this can be is that it's not a bad thing. All Saturn wants you to do is be responsible about your expectations and hold yourself accountable, right? And so if you've already learned your lesson, you know this for sure, just go back over and check everything. Ask out loud, Spirit, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Is there something more that I can be doing? Check in. That's it. That's all Saturn wants you to do, is to acknowledge the fact that you have goals, you hold yourself at a certain level, and you need to be responsible for that. Just period. That's the simplest way to do that, right? And so, because it's a square, it can show up in a rather bad news, feeling depressed, anxiety, a criticism. But then the very next day, Mercury's gonna sextile Neptune, which can be one of those experiences where, okay, fine, so whatever didn't happen that you really, really thought that you wanted, again, you're going to get what you need, and it's going to be way better than what it would have been had you got what you wanted. This is how I view this energy. So a blessing in disguise. And then Mercury is going to sextile Jupiter, just expanding on that idea, possibilities, opportunities, blessings, gratitude, forgiveness, faith, hope, all this kind of upbeat, jovial type energy, which is just, it might not look like this for everybody, but I do feel like a lot more people are going to get blessings as opposed to this being anything else. And then we have on the 26th, Mercury is going to trine Pluto. And because it's a trine, it's a good transit. So maybe from everything that you've learned, you're like, you know what, I don't want to make those same mistakes. And you've put some things in place that say, hey, how can I do some preventative risk management here? What can I do to be better? How can I set my life structure, daily routines, expectations, thought processes? What can I do to change those things? And so you'll see a transformation if you've already been working on those things. Maybe you're already in counseling, or you're learning your astrology, or through the divinations, or some esoteric knowledge, or you're taking some financial planning classes and just learning. And this is how you change your thought process, your thought patterns, right? Challenging yourself to do better and be better, right? Whatever it is for you, whatever whatever it takes, right? And this is beautiful because this is real transformation. And whenever you do stuff like that, you really begin to see, spirit again shows up in the physical with all this earth energy. Like, you get rewards, you get blessed for doing those types of things, and I just think that that's absolutely magical. I'd like to hear how people liked seeing the charts on here. This is the first time I've done this while doing a live. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it, but if you like it and you think it'll help you learn better, please let me know. And yeah, man, I think this is going to be overall pretty awesome. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what comes up for me. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful.